Kyle with Chopping It Up, I guess, or Chocolate Topics. We still haven't picked a name. All right, so we're going to talk about UFC 229. Everybody was waiting for it. Even if you don't like UFC, everybody still was waiting for Conor McGregor to come back because everybody's a Conor McGregor fan. So anyways, the first fight, the main event, we're just going to go through that, was Michelle Waterson versus Felice Herrig. And if you don't know who Michelle Waterson is, she's called the Karate Hottie. You could Google that. She got some nice looking photos. Man, she fine. But anyways, so that fight to me was a really close fight. It was a unanimous decision win for the Karate Hottie. But to me, it was just like, I don't know. I felt like it was super close. And it should have either been a split decision. And even though I feel like Michelle Waterson won, it just leaves the question, what is a takedown worth? Because Felice Herrig got a few takedowns on her, and she really didn't do anything with the takedowns. And, she ended up losing the fight. But if you go back to, let's say, a recent fight, Mighty Mouse versus Henry Cejudo, Henry Cejudo got some takedowns, didn't outstrike Mighty Mouse, but those takedowns were the deciding factor, even though he didn't do anything with most of those takedowns. So that just leaves the question up in the air, like, what is a takedown worth? Because, for Henry Cejudo, it was a deciding factor, and for Felice Herrig, it wasn't, So that's just a question I have, and, I think that's a lot of things. I think that's something a lot of UFC fans or MMA fans want to know. What's a takedown actually worth? Next fight was the most entertaining fight on the card to me, was my man Derek Lewis, straight from the H-Town, representing Texas, versus Volkov, the Russian. So Volkov, he's a great heavyweight. I feel like his future is going to be bright. Derek Lewis, man, this guy is just a brawler. I don't know if he has any MMA skills per se. He just seems to have a lot of heart, And so Volkov was whooping his ass all 3 rounds, and like Derek Lewis fashion, he pulls it out in the last round. But not only in the last round, like the last 13 seconds of the round, he hits Volkov, knocks him out. And we see it all the time. And now it's saying that Derek Lewis is going to get a title shot. Is it November 3rd? Whatever the Madison Square Garden fight is, Derek Lewis is supposed to get a title shot. So he definitely has to work out. Me and my boy Kenny, we're just watching an interview where Derek Lewis said, yeah, I was working out. I used to work out like 30 minutes a day. Now I only work out now for this fight I worked out an hour a day. I'm just thinking, man, I'll be in the gym with my boy Kenny. We'll be in there for like 2 hours sometimes, 3 hours. And this dude talk about 30 minutes a day. That's definitely hard. So, his coaches need to do better too. Just for the fact that, if you got such potential in this guy, he's number 2 ranked right now with really no mixed martial arts skills. So, really, they should just, force him to work out more, work on his cardio. You're the coaches, and just press him so he can be champion one day, But right now, he's just getting by heart. So shout out to my man Derek Lewis. And then the next fight, it was OSP, Ove Peru versus Reyes. And I love Ove Peru. It was one of my first UFC fights going to here in Texas. And I like him because he has sneaky chokes and all that stuff. But I figured Reyes was going to get this one. Reyes is so quick, and honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if Reyes becomes a champion one day. Yeah, he might take the lightweight division one day. Because John Jones is getting up there in age. The older fighters are gone and new fighters are coming. But Reyes is just a quicker guy. Ove Peru, he kind of telegraphs his shots, his swings and everything, and it's just not as fast. and not as precise. So I had Reyes on that one, and Reyes looked great. And, you know, he almost got a KO at the end, but the bell saved OSP. So, and then fight that I probably was most excited for, it was Ferguson versus Pettis, Anthony Pettis. And I definitely had Ferguson winning. I've seen Pettis fight, and I think Pettis is probably one of the most skilled fighters I've ever seen. But I feel like psychologically, there's a block there. And I mean, it happens to a lot of fighters, like Anderson Silva. He got knocked out by Weidman, and he was never the same. Same thing with Pettis. When he got beat by Dos Anjos, he was never the same. And that's not to take anything away from Ferguson. Ferguson is definitely, you know, #1 contender in my eyes. He's not afraid to try new things. He's really tricky, and he just goes out there. And even when he's in trouble, he has a crazy way of escaping trouble. So Ferguson, I definitely had him beating Pettis, and I mean, he's ready. You know, I just wonder if he could withstand Conor's left hand if they do fight one day. I know Dana White said he'll never book Ferguson and Khabib again because that fight's been canceled so many times. But, I mean, if Khabib gets suspended or anything for the brawl after the main event, then, you know, I'd definitely like to see Ferguson versus Conor McGregor. You know, and we'll see if Ferguson can do something tricky to escape that left hand. All right, and then the main event. The main event was Conor versus Khabib, which everybody was waiting for. You know, I had Khabib. I picked Khabib to win on a poll, but Conor, even with bad matchups, Conor has a way of just proving you wrong. So I wasn't counting Conor McGregor out. But, I mean, I figured, hey, Khabib was going to maul through Conor. And that's exactly what he did. And a lot of people were saying, well, who has Khabib fought? Who has Khabib fought? And, I mean, really, he's the most probably dangerous person he fought was probably Edson Barboza. But he mauled through Edson Barboza. And, I mean, he's a great striker. So him mauling through Conor, it's pretty much what I expected. But like I said, Conor has a way to surprise people. And, I mean, even with the bad matchups, he seems to always knock out somebody. So I wasn't putting anything past Conor McGregor. And then, of course, the best part of it was Khabib jumping over the fence and to fight Conor McGregor's team. That was crazy. But, I mean, I understand where it came from. I mean, if you're holding things in, you're staying composed. You know, it's not like Conor and Diaz. Diaz will talk shit back, you know what I'm saying? And he thrives for that. Other people, they'll, like Jose Aldo, he always starts the fights off with leg kicks. You know, Conor definitely got inside his head. With Khabib, Conor probably got inside his head, and his team probably got inside of Khabib's head. But Khabib held his composure until the very end. And honestly, I mean, I'm kind of like that too. I'm kind of like a sore winner. You know, if I'm already pumped up, I got the adrenaline going through, man, sometimes I do be looking for a fight. So I can understand where Khabib was coming from. Doesn't make it right, but I can understand. But that's all I have for UFC 229. Thanks.
Yeah, Dipset.